Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of the Pennywine podcast. This is the third time I've recorded the intro. How's everyone doing today?
Good, but annoyed.
Yeah, I was trolling Tosh.
Doing less well now.
Jake, what are you drinking today, Jake?
I've got a Killian's Irish Red because it's the week of St. Patrick's Day and all the Irish beers BOGO right now, so it's not bad actually.
Oh, okay. I tried Heineken through the draft yesterday. I haven't had it draft before.
We didn't do Heineken.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. It wasn't Heineken. It was fucking Dos Equis. Yeah, I don't know why I said Heineken. I'm retarded. Never mind.
A similar beer.
Yeah, it's all good. Sorry for the bad language, guys. Okay, so we got 3 beautiful movies for you all today. We got Scary Movie 2. We got Horror of Dracula from 1958, I believe. And then Leprechan, which I believe is 1992 or 1993.
3.
Okay. Scary Movie 2, I believe, is 2001.
Yes.
Okay. I was just trying to memorize the IMDb like 30 minutes ago, and I'm lazy. So, okay. So, the first one on the list today is Scary Movie 2. And that one is my movie, so I must do the summary. So, Scary Movie 2. Man, okay. So, it's hard to summarize a parody movie like Scary Movie 2. So, I'm just going to really quickly summarize it. They're a bunch of college students. They go into a program to get an automatic A if they go to a place. They go to said place, which is Hell House. They go there for their A, and a bunch of funny things happen, and then the end comes, and that's about it. It's a comedy movie, so you don't really have to talk about the plot. You know, it's like
Hearing you describe the plot, I was like, wait, this movie had a plot?
Exactly.
Like it's very bland when you describe it.
Yeah, exactly. So, since I did the intro and the summary, I'll let you guys speak first on this.
Well,
don't everyone stand up at once.
No, I love the Scary Movie series. At least the first 2 and part of 3. 3's all right. Like I think I said in the last time we did Scary Movie, I love the first one. It's one of my favorite movies. I quote it all the time. I watch it multiple times a year. And this one, like it's not. I don't like it better than the first one, but it's still very funny. There's a lot of good gags and parodies in this one.
Yeah, I really like the intro scene when it's like the Exorcist part is like one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
I think that's the strongest parody, I think, and the funniest part.
For sure.
Far.
Yeah, we made some Halloween Horror Nights jokes whenever they did the pea soup throw up at each other, where they were like, What? Okay, so that's one of my biggest criticisms about this movie, though, is it has a little bit too much gross out and slapstick type of humor, and I've never thought that stuff was like funny. Like I never thought, like I don't mind it. Like I watched Tom and Jerry when I was a kid, but it's not like I was laughing every time like Tom like hits into things. I've never liked like slapstick comedy. I don't know why. I'm not saying you're wrong for anybody's wrong for liking it. I never laugh at that type of stuff. So. Anyways,
yeah, and that's kind of why I fall off the series as it goes on, because they lean way more heavily into that moving forward.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of the last of like the adult rated like they're like the hard R type of jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, like I've said some kind of negative things. I think this movie, like this was a very rushed sequel. I think it was just kind of like the first movie. They set out very specifically to parody like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that kind of felt like a cohesive like stand up of that genre. And this just felt like, all right, we gotta pad out the runtime. We gotta make it to 90 minutes. What parody can we throw in? And it felt like it was like there was just a bunch of little vignettes they went and did that didn't really add up to a cohesive story.
Yeah, that was an incredible summary of my experience with this movie. So that was good.
It's the only negative I'll say about it, though, is it felt kind of rushed, and some of the jokes didn't land as well.
Yeah.
I still like it a lot.
And I took the liberty, just out of curiosity, I took the liberty of checking out the IMDb of both movies, and I did notice that there's a significant drop off. So like the first one got like a 6.2, and the second one got like a 5.2. So there's definitely, I think, a community consensus on what you're saying. But it's also what is interesting to me, because I've only seen the first two thus far, is that it actually bumps up a little bit on the third one. So that leads me to believe that the community isn't just like not liking it because it's not the first one, and it's like the sequel to the first one. The fact that it jumps on the third one tells me that this one is probably like worse than the first and the third, but I haven't seen the third, so.
I disagree, honestly.
Okay, well, I'll have to check it out. So.
I mean,
the third
one's okay,
Go ahead,
but it's not.
Yeah, we don't have to go into like into the third because I haven't seen it anyways. I was just saying that's interesting to me, and I don't think it's just the sequel effect. Yeah. I was using that as an example for the sequel effect.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, and like I mean, like I said, like a couple of this movie has a lot of lines. Like do you have those movies where they say something and then you see something in your everyday life and it always makes you think of it? Like, first, I don't know why, but the dinner scene when Hansen is like having sex with the turkey and he looks at it and he goes, I don't know what the hell that is, but I'll lick it anyway. I always play that in my head whenever I hear somebody say like, I don't know. It's just a weird. Do you guys have that with like lines from movies where it just makes you triggers it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what you mean, for sure. That's funny that you think that. That's kind of gross. But,
like,
yeah,
it's a stupid line, but it just always makes me laugh.
My least favorite part of this whole movie is that character. Like, I don't think anything he does is funny. I don't like it I don't like his voice. I don't like the hand thing on the face. I just never laugh at it. I don't know why. I'm just like, it's just too long. They're stretching this out. I don't think it's funny. You go to the next joke. And the dinner scene was like, had to be like at least 6 minutes, maybe longer.
Yeah.
And I was like, they put a lot of eggs in that basket of that guy being funny, and for me, it didn't pay off.
Yeah, no.
I think my favorite characters always were Brenda and Ray. I just think they're both so ridiculous, and I feel like they didn't get as much to do in this one. Like my favorite thing, like one of my favorite things in both movies is when they're running from the skeleton and Brenda's like hiding around the corner and she's like, "Damn, why loud bitch gotta bring that shit over here?"
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
And she's just like, she's like, "Please, bitch, die!" Like it was just so funny.
Yeah, and then they were like best friends after that.
Well, one of the parts I like, the cripple guy picked all the white people and was like, "I'll take you 3," and then just
yeah. That was funny. I do like any movies that make fun of the trope of like directors always decide, and writers as well, deciding like to kill the black people first. Like, why? But I get it. It's a horror movie trope at this point. So sorry for the loud baby in the background. She likes to try to get our attention.
That kind of brings it. That kind of brings it back to like the negatives. I feel like that's really the only kind of like time they're poking fun at a horror trope.
Yeah.
Like they're actually like drawing light to this thing in all horror movies where everything else is just like this parody is a thing that we're doing right now.
Yes, and that is when these movies are at their best. That's why I think it's my favorite. Like it's my favorite part of it. But yeah. I noticed that they did the Charlie's Angels thing, which was not like a horror thing at all. So they were just like, what's big right now, and then just did all of it.
Well, if you remember,
they kind of did with
in the first one they did the Matrix. So if you remember,
they did the Matrix. Yep. That's true.
I feel like
I didn't complain about that before, so.
This type of movie where it's like they're trying to get that like 16 to 17-year-old audience, they need to do like those kind of topical type of jokes. And like some of the topical jokes in this were just funny, just in context, like in the Exorcist thing at the beginning when the priest is saying that unholy bitch Jerry got kicked off of Survivor, I'm like, oh my god, that's such a time capsule. Well, just Survivor in general is not relevant, but I remember watching that specific season of Survivor.
It's funny that they got James Woods to be the priest, considering he was Hades and Hercules.
Oh yes, that's true. And also they got
I haven't seen that.
Tasha didn't recognize the guy from Small Soldiers that was
the
also in
cripple
like
guy.
a lot of indie, like not indie, a lot of 90s and early 2000s movies. I don't know who that guy's name, but
David Cross, right?
The
guy
guy
in
in
the
the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that guy. He's cool. I like his voice. He's
now
got a
that
cool
you
voice.
said that Small Soldiers, I knew exactly who he was talking about.
Yeah, right. I loved the wheelchair sequence. Like, most of the wheelchair jokes I laughed at. Because, like, okay, making fun of, like, okay, somebody was hurt or this is gross, that doesn't make me laugh. But making fun of somebody's disability, thumbs up for me. Yeah, I'm a piece of shit.
That one had another of those like very specific jokes where like when his wheel explodes and it pans in and it's like a firestone, because at the time this movie came out there was that scandal where a
Yeah.
bunch of their tires were exploding or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I kind of like some of those jokes as it's just a time capsule.
Yeah.
But like it's something. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
It's just something that won't make sense if somebody watches this movie in like 10 years, or somebody that wasn't alive back then, or
barely
Just-
alive.
Yeah.
just jokes do not translate over time.
Yeah. Honestly though, I liked how they edited in the like car sound effects when they were having the wheelchair race.
Yeah.
That was funny. But I pointed this out to Tasha, but a couple times he actually like used his legs for things, but it's alright. It's a parody movie. I just noticed that type of stuff.
Yeah,
Molly wants to be part of the podcast. Go ahead.
Hi, Molly. Did you like the movie?
She's like, nope, it was crap. It's like everything Mommy and Daddy watches because it's not Blue's Clues.
Oh no, she liked the Leprechan and the Dracula movie.
Oh, she didn't like scary movies. She just ran into another room. She's like, this sucks.
She thought it was racist and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there anything
very
else?
woke.
Yeah, y'all want to add to that one?
I don't know. Like, I feel like I've kind of shit on this movie a little bit, but it has like some fantastic, like, just dry jokes that always still make me laugh. Like in the Exorcist scene, it's just like a throwaway line where the mom's like, "The child won't even let me touch her," and James Woods just goes, "Sometimes you have to give them candy."
Yeah.
Like, just like dry lines like that just always make me laugh. Still.
Yeah, you have to give them candy.
But one of my favorite Ray moment in the movie is when it's kind of a cool shot actually, when it's like the Tim Curry.
Oh yeah.
Cindy gets on top of Tim Curry and then she moves towards the camera and then it fades
Ray's
and it
face.
becomes Ray.
Yeah.
And then it's just like it just shows Ray and he's like, "Oh, I bought mine on Friday. Shit is hot, right?" Like, the fact that he's just down there eating a banana in a red dress is just good rando
oh my
humor.
God.
Yeah, I do like the rando stuff like that. Yeah, just everything with that. I don't want to talk about some of the specific ones, but some of them were so gross. Like the freezer scene was so gross.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Like it was like the Titanic parody that just made no sense.
Yeah, it made no sense. Wasn't good. Or at least those few jokes.
Brenda's dirty talk. I love that when she's like, "I'll piss on your face and I'm gonna fart in your mouth."
Yeah, I think I've heard. Like, I hadn't seen this movie yet, but I think I've like heard that referenced like several times in different ways. I guess
Probably said it before.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I thought it was kind of funny when the lady was like super into this like random ghost trying to have sex with her while she's asleep. Though,
Yeah.
that seems like kind of funny. I was like, what the fuck? It's just that is like one of the ridiculous things that happens in this movie, but it's a parody movie. So. Like I said, I'm not here to pick it apart.
And
like
she's. I guess Tim Curry's character died, but she was really the only one that was killed in this movie. It's not. They didn't really do any type of kills in this one.
No.
No, that's a good point.
Even Shorty, who dies, but he's back at the end.
Yeah, and they didn't have anything like as funny as like the garage door with the fat chick or anything like.
Oh yeah.
They didn't have anything like that in this movie.
Yeah, like that parody was just 100% perfect and spot on and hilarious. Yeah, you're right. They didn't have anything that was that like that fit the parody that well or fit the genre that well.
I thought that the shitty cat fight scene was actually aged okay. I thought it was actually pretty funny when she fist fights the cat.
Oh yeah, like that was another one. Like I kind of like skip that scene usually when I watch it because I'm just like that parody just didn't really.
I don't mind it.
It didn't do it for me.
I don't mind it. I think they like at least tried to put some effort into it. Like they did that whole parody of like, boxing movies when like somebody gets punched and there's like sweat that flies everywhere and stuff. So I at least thought that that brings me into one more point I wanted to make is this: despite the fact that this is a parody movie, you can tell that they tried to put some effort into some of the ways that they filmed things. And I just appreciate that because a lot of the times when I see modern parody movies, I notice that they're like, oh, it's a parody movie, so this can look like shit and it'll be fine. But they don't want it to be focused on poor filmmaking. They want like the focus to be on the jokes. And I got to at least give them credit for that. I mean, I know that the $1.99 CGI cat, there's nothing that can really be done about that, but a lot of the practical effects and just mostly like just that stuff at least is pretty good. Like for example, sorry, one more thing, but like at the beginning of the movie when it has like the Exorcist stuff, I at least thought like that a lot of the stuff, like obviously it's not to the quality of like a regular movie, but it's like it was definitely passable on everything that they tried to do there. So I don't know. I just like that when it's clear that they put effort into it despite it's a parody movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead. Sorry, we have so much delay. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry about that. It's just
no.
3 second delay.
My last this is my little story time from this movie. The scene where Shorty's watching like the rap Christmas album promo on TV, and one of the songs is called "All I Want for Christmas Is the Charges Dropped." One year, I thought it would be so funny. I just posted that as my Facebook status, like. Just said all I want for Christmas is the charges dropped. I thought it would be so funny and everyone would get my joke. And then I got so many messages like, wait, what's wrong? I should probably delete that.
Oh man.
Like that didn't work out too well.
And then somebody comments like, I'm gonna piss on your face.
I'd be like, yeah, these are some of the real friends in here.
And then the onlookers would have been double confused if there was saw that as the comment. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since this is my movie, I'm supposed to rate it first. Am I interrupting? Like, does anybody have anything else before I go into my rating? Cool. So I like this movie. I don't like it as good as the first movie, by actually a lot. I like the first one much, much better. I don't hate this one, though. It's still slightly better than the average parody. No, I would say it's about as the average parody movie. I think I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Because I've seen other parody movies, and I think this one sits right in the middle, so 5 out of 10.
Okay. Well, the older I get, I think I'm starting to like the first one better because I didn't think it was as funny this time go round. So I probably will also give it a 5.
Also, now you like the first one better. Interesting.
I'm still not as huge into parodies as you are, though. So. All
True.
right, Jake.
I'm gonna give it a 6. It's definitely an average movie, but there's still like some good dry and there's some jokes that have the edge of the first movie, or like they have the wit of the first movie. Because I mean, it's a stupid parody movie, but some of the jokes can still be kind of clever. How they like tie certain things together in a parody. This movie still has some of that, so I think it's a slightly above average movie for that. But it's definitely kind of the series starting to go downhill
Okay. All
for
right.
this one.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Quick question before we move on. What is your favorite of the scary movies that you've seen?
Number one for sure.
Okay.
No question.
Do you like this one or 3 better? Since I'll probably watch 3 soon. Oh, he's frozen. There he is. There he is. Jake?
I feel like 3 is. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
froze
can.
there for a little while. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I think I might like 3 a little better, honestly. Like, I'd have to watch it again, but I feel like some of the jokes in that they're aged better.
Okay.
I don't remember.
All right. So the next movie is Dracula, 1958, and Jake recommended.
Yeah,
This
so
one.
this was my pick. It was the Angry Video Game Nerd, the Cinemassacre guy. I was watching some of his, like, because he does horror reviews too, and he was saying how the Hammer Dracula films are really good. So I was like, I'll check them out. And I actually was pleasantly surprised by it. It's basically your standard Dracula story where there's Count Dracula and Dr. Van Helsing knows that he's a vampire and stuff, and he's trying to or he sends this one guy to go gather proof and to basically kill Dracula, but of course the guy fails and Dracula escapes, and Dracula goes after the first guy who died, his girlfriend or wife or whatever, and turns her into a vampire, and then it just kind of slowly moves through that family where like the mom gets turned and stuff, and the whole time Dr. Van Helsing and the dad are trying to find him, and then they find out that, oh my god, he's been in the house the whole time, and then they kill him. Do they?
Or do they?
You know, I really like this movie. Because I'm not big like on the old Dracula or those type of movies, but I like the way this one was shot and everything. But there was a couple things that I picked up on. Like when they killed Lucy, like when they looked down, you saw her eye twitched. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Yeah.
And then when the last girl, I can't remember her name, but the wife, when she got hit with the cross, she just like falls over, like the worst fainting I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was kind of inconsistent. Like you'd think, like the cross, sometimes it like kills them, and then sometimes it just kind of lightly burns them.
Yeah, and she just like faints. It's like that's like the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, it definitely it's an older movie, so it's pretty slow and it's a lot of just kind of talking. But
Yeah.
like I was kind of surprised. I was expecting it to be like the classic monster movies that are just 100% slow. This one, like it was kind of like Scream, where it's like you think that the first guy is the main character and then he dies like 15 minutes into the movie and you're like, oh shit. Like, I thought
That was surprising.
I liked how quickly they got to the reveal of like Dracula biting somebody and like becoming Dracula, because usually like you feel like that's going to happen like 40 minutes in, but I liked how quickly they kind of got to it.
The only thing is, I wish Dracula had a little bit more talk time. Like he barely even, like when the first guy got there, that was like the only talk time he really had. Like they didn't show much of Dracula at all.
Yeah, you're right, because that's kind of what you want in these type of movies, is like more of the
Yeah.
which I always say though, like show less and less of the monster, but I don't know, like you're right, they should have showed more. Like I don't know how much more, but somewhat.
At least with these type of movies, you expect to see more.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things is like, I I always forget that it's a trope in the older vampire stories that if you kill the OG original gangsta vampire, then all the other vampires are cured. Okay, I'm not here to nitpick vampirism, but I just think it's interesting that getting it requires transmission almost like a real disease. Like you get bitten, you get infected, your body transforms, now you need blood instead. But it's like it transcends space whenever you kill the original. But I mean, like, I can't really fault this movie for like what is the myth of vampirism, but I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like
weird.
if you've been bitten by a vampire and they've sucked your blood, you're dead. So like, how can you come back to life
Yep.
if a vampire's dead?
Yeah, because it's like you're undead at that point. But
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. I did like the dust. You know, he's like jumped and did it, and it was like dust. And then the
Yeah,
credits
yeah.
roll. It's like kind of fast the way it ends there.
Yeah, which I feel like that's just a symptom of this being an older movie.
Yeah,
Um,
they don't tie everything up like they used to. Yeah. Sorry for the squeakage. Molly's getting up and down,
But-
up and down.
like the one thing that kind of made me mad when I was watching it was just the housekeeper. Like when I forget the girl's name, the one like the girlfriend or wife or whatever that
Yeah.
becomes a vampire. Like the Van Helsing's like, lock the windows, put the garlic in there, don't let her out. The housekeeper just comes in and goes, I'm gonna open these fucking windows.
Yep.
And then she just immediately gets bitten, and I'm like, that bitch needs to be like tarred and feathered and
Yeah.
like stabbed.
Yeah.
She's disobeying the orders of the house. She should be fired at the very least.
Well, you know, also, you would think that the housekeeper would tell the master of the house why she's not allowed to go in the cellar, because, you know, they were standing outside all night watching for Dracula, and he was downstairs in the cellar the whole time.
Yeah.
True. Good
That
point.
I liked that twist. It kind of got me. Like I did
Yeah.
not see it coming, but it made perfect sense because he like got the older mother like bring him into the house or like invite him in or whatever you
Yeah.
have to do with a vampire. Yeah, I thought that was a cool twist that I liked.
But yeah, I you know, I liked, like, the old look of the movie. Like, I love older movies like that.
Yeah, it. I had mine.
Oh no, I was gonna say just it flows differently, and it's really hard for me to watch one that's that old. But I appreciated it. Like, there's a lot I liked about this one versus a lot of movies that came out in that time. But it also makes me thankful of some of the like, I don't know, the modern filmmaking techniques. I guess we're just kind of spoiled by the pacing today. But then you go out of your way to find slower paced movies sometimes, like Suspiria or whatever that I like. But then I watch some of the OGs that are slow, and I'm just like, this is too slow. But then I'm like, well, but I like slow movies. Why do I feel this way about the old ones? I don't know. It's weird.
I think it's partly because just the like they're playing these people from like what the 1800s, and they're just doing stuff that doesn't make sense to modern people. They're like
True.
the way they talk and the way they just interact with people. I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of why I have trouble with a lot of older movies.
Yeah.
It's like I don't relate to anybody
And
in how they do things.
Some of the senior people working on this movie too could have been born in the 1800s. Like, it came out in 1958, right? You're at the top of your field. You might be about to retire 55, 60 years old. Could have been born literally in the 1800s. It's weird to think about, and then they would have had like direct family members that they grew up talking to from like literally like 1850. So I mean, maybe, you know, it was just better understood at the time, and they were able to like depict the time really accurately and stuff. So I don't know. I just think about that type of stuff too. And also,
Yeah,
I recently
like,
saw that Vsauce video about time, where this is relevant, I promise, but because it made me think about the whole thing I just said. But they said that, like, you know, I think it was like Anne Frank and Martin Luther King was born in the same year. Yeah, same year was born, and they would still be like alive, today. Anyways, so if somebody is alive like in the 1800s, they could have worked on this movie, which is so weird. But go ahead, sorry.
I think I don't know if it's a British thing or just an old movie thing, but it just bothered me how like overly polite everyone was, and like they were just like, "Oh, hello, sir. Pardon me, sir." Like I don't like, again, just not being able to relate to it. I'm like, no, just call him a stupid fucker and just push him out of the way. Like, just this is America.
Yeah.
Even though it was probably England in the movie.
Oh my gosh, just like the one scene when Von Helsing went to go get like a drink, and the bartender guy was so rude to the waitress. It was like,
Oh yeah.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
And then she was the only one that was actually helpful. She really
Yeah.
helped the plot along. She told him where to go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tasha was saying that while the movie was playing that she wants to ride in a carriage pulled by horses now. So
It would be a cool experience to try.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I'm
would.
not saying to do it all the time.
it would, as long as I know that they were humane to the horses.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I don't want no cruel horse treatment in my. I don't want to pay for that. I want to support that. But, anyways, yeah, there's a lot about this movie that made me think like that it was cool as part of the times. But go ahead. I have a side note, but I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I think like the only other thing that like I had never thought about the Dracula like mythos this way before, but this movie made me think of especially you remembered her name, Tasha. Emily or the younger wife that gets turned into the vampire. What was her name?
the one that turns in at last, or the middle, or the sister.
Sister, I think.
Lucy.
Yes, Lucy. She like when she's just kind of like she takes off the crucifix and like invites Dracula in. It made me think of like being it's like being a drug addict almost. Like she knows Dracula's gonna kill her, but she just can't stop. She
Yep.
can't help herself. I never like put that together in my mind that it kind of is like I don't know if it's intentional, but it's like a metaphor for drug addiction kind of.
Never thought about it that way, but I could see that. What was your side note, Mike?
Oh, my side note was one of the things is like I found a lot of the decor in the house to be like tacky, but at the same time it's because it's so old. I was just thinking about how you see like a lot of stuff in that design in like thrift stores and antique stores and stuff like that. And I'm like, ew.
I loved it. Like I wouldn't want it in my house, but it made me feel like this is like 1800s Dracula.
Yep.
Like the castle and even like the house, because they had like all the little apothecary tables and stuff. I liked it. I liked the aesthetic of it.
Yeah. So I don't really have anything else on this movie. I know we blew through your movie, but do you have anything?
I'm good.
It's been like a week since I watched it, so I'm having trouble remembering like very specific things. But one of my favorite things that made me laugh out loud was when they go to see the Undertaker to see Dracula's coffin because it got shipped to the funeral home or whatever, and he's literally the Monopoly guy. He has the top hat and the monocle, and he's like doing a little jig. Like, watch your step here on the stairs, sir. Like, I just died. I was like, this is literally the Monopoly man in a Dracula movie.
Yeah, I thought
He was a fun character.
He was.
Oh. It's nice having him
Very
around.
memorable.
Yeah.
But we can go to ratings if y'all are ready.
Yeah. So,
Jake?
it's your honor first since this is your recommendation.
This was my favorite Dracula movie I've seen. I've only seen a couple. Like I've seen the original classic monster one and a few more like modern ones, but I think this one just captures like the classic story. Like everyone knows the story, but even if you haven't seen any of the movies or anything, I just think this one captures the Dracula vibe that I want the best. And it is kind of slow, but it wasn't as slow as I was expecting. So I definitely see myself like I want to watch the other Hammer Dracula films and kind of I think this one will be in my regular rotation. It felt very Halloweeny to me, or it made me kind of think of that time of year a lot, even though it didn't mention it at all.
So, what was your
I give a
rating?
number I don't remember.
You didn't.
You did not.
Okay. Thought I started with it. 8 out of 10. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The only nitpicks is, like I was saying, was the fainting and then her eye twitch when she was supposed to be dead. But I really liked the way the atmosphere looked, and you know, like you said, I definitely enjoyed this vampire movie beyond other ones that I have seen.
Yeah.
So 7 out of 10. Mike?
I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. I liked it more than your average movie in that time. I thought about giving it a 7 as well. There was a few things that deterred me from that, but I feel like that at the very least it's a simple story with twists that surprise me, and it's not bad. I like it. So 6 out of 10.
Okay. All right, you ready to move on to the last one?
Yeah. So the last one would be Leprechan.
So the reason why I chose this one is because this month is St. Patrick's Day, and basically it starts out with an Irish family. He comes back, I'm assuming from a business trip or just a personal trip, and he stole the gold from the leprechaun. The leprechaun obviously is magical, so he snuck without the guy knowing, and basically killed his wife and just trying to get his gold back. And the old man basically put him in a crate and put a 4-leaf clover on there because that's his weakness. So then we jump 10 years ahead where this dad and his daughter comes from Los Angeles for the summer to stay in this summer home just to get away, I'm assuming, fix his house up, and then they discovered the gold, this little boy named Alex and his friend, and again the leprechaun is just trying to get his gold back, and they end up just killing him with the 4-leaf clover, and basically, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great summary. Yeah, I in certain situations, right? And I have some nitpicks that I would like to start out with here. But first of all, Jake, how did you feel about this movie?
It was fun, but it just like something about it just wasn't quite there. Like I loved the leprechaun character. As any second he was on screen, I was into it. I was loving it, all of his little antics, but it just I wanted more of that, and based on like where the series goes, it seems like they lean more heavily into that. So I'm excited to watch the sequels more than I am to ever watch this one specific one again.
Yeah, the sequel is definitely better, but it obviously doesn't follow the same storyline. But 2018 one does. Technically, that one should be the sequel because that one deals with her daughter, and they go back to that house. But the other several does not. So.
Right. Well, so okay, I have a few nitpicks. So I don't like it when movies do this. When I get that it's a horror movie and things need to happen, right? But I don't understand why they can't just talk about this. Like, for example, all right, you have the part where she gives him his gold back out of the well. She figures out it's in there. She gets it out of there, but it only has 99 coins. So why can't they just talk it over and him figure out what's going on with the other coin? Now, I know that the other guy has eaten it or whatever, and so he must die or whatever. But, like, the leprechaun doesn't know that. So as far as the leprechaun knows, this person has just returned all of his gold and given him his powers back. So I don't understand, motivation-wise, why he would do what he does afterwards. it makes sense with us as an omniscient viewer, but it doesn't make sense for the Leprechaun to do that. But anyways, I came across as a big asshole there, but I'm just, anyways. Sorry.
I feel like I get what you're saying. Like, I don't know why Jennifer Aniston and like all of them just didn't try to reason with the Leprechaun and be like, "Hey, just hang out for 8 hours. This guy's bound to give you that coin back some way or another. Like, just hang on. We got you. We're not stealing from you.
We go to the hospital.
We're just
get it taken out."
Yeah, I feel like the Leprechaun is just like he's just seems like a mischievous dick. Like, I feel like he wouldn't. I feel like there isn't bartering or like reasoning with him, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He just sat in a crate for so long that he's pissed off at humans.
I mean, he's pissed
Don't
off
blame
because
him.
they took from him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just trying to get what's rightfully his back.
Yeah, I get it.
You don't come to somebody else's land and take from them.
Yeah. He's gotta have his
But
gold.
I did-
He's gotta show you your gold if you ask him or something. His gold, not your gold.
I did like how like the little like I don't know if this movie invented them. I assume it didn't, but just like the little like bits of Leprechaun lore, like the fact that they love shining shoes and like just I love the little like specific details like that. Like, one of my favorite scenes is when they're trying to distract him. They just keep throwing shoes, and he's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta go shine this one real quick. Oh, let me run over here. Let me get this one." Like, I loved that.
One of my favorite parts is when he was eating the Lucky Charms cereal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty on the nose.
I was like, there has to be a reference to Lucky Charms in here, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there absolutely was.
Yeah. I wonder if like this boosted or lowered like the sales of Lucky Charms after this movie, or had no effect. Like, would it be like, oh, I loved this movie, it was cool, or oh, I don't want Lucky Charms now because I hate leprechauns now, you know?
Well, it depends on the age group that's watched the movie.
I guess.
I kind of wanted Lucky Charms after watching. I was like, I haven't had those in a long time.
Yeah. Tasha makes fun of me because of the way I eat Lucky Charms. Because I'll like sit there with a spoon and fish the like all the nasty like ones and then eat those and then eat all the marshmallows at once. I like separate them. It's a lot of work.
You eat your veggies first, and then you just enjoy your reward.
Yeah, eat the steaky afterwards, after the veggies.
I like the part when the leprechaun was driving that truck that he stole from the antique guy, and the police officer pulled him over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like that was really cute. And then doesn't he like fashion one out of like the barn later and like chases Jennifer Aniston with it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Those sequences were really cute.
Yeah.
I liked those.
But I mean, it was a fun movie to watch, but I felt like it was definitely kind of repetitive. Like, he's constantly just trying to get his gold. Like, there's nothing more to it.
It was like they were kind of going the Killer Clowns route, where they were like, all right, we have this loose plot, but we want to have all these fun little things the Leprechaun does. Though, like, the fun little Leprechaun vignettes were the best part of the movie by far. I feel like they should have just gone the full Killer Clowns route, where they were just like, all right, this is all we care about, is making the Leprechaun stuff fun. We don't really care if the plot makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It sounds like the sequels don't do that, but that was my hope for the sequels, that they would lean more on the Leprechaun.
So, I've only seen the sequels once. I didn't really like the In Space one. I can't remember which one I really liked. I think it was 2 I liked the best, but I can't remember. It's been so long. It's been like 10 years since I've watched the others.
Yeah.
But, I don't have anything else on this because there's not much really.
Yeah. This might end up being like one of our shortest episodes, which is all right.
One thing that really bugged me, and I don't know if I just read it wrong, but
Okay.
the guy that played Jennifer Aniston's dad, he was like 5 years older than her, right? Like, he looked way too young to be her father. It looked like it was just like a guy that was 30 and they put some gray in his beard.
I mean, you're probably right. I didn't really pay too much attention to it because he wasn't on very much. on the screen time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't-
But
I don't know why he existed as a character at all, because literally, like 20 minutes in, he goes to the hospital and you never hear from him again.
You don't know
why is he
how
in
he
this
does,
movie?
how's he doing or nothing.
maybe he was in a lot of deleted scenes, so then he doesn't make sense now.
I doubt they maybe even deleted scenes back in '93.
No, every movie has deleted scenes, even the OGs.
Maybe not. But
And like I love the part when Jennifer Aniston just goes, "This is the '90s. We don't do that anymore." And I'm
yes.
like,
Yes.
I was like, yes, that is hilarious. Because little
like,
did
don't
they
worry,
know.
Jennifer. Give it a couple years. You'll be on Friends. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, was this before she was on Friends?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
was,
pointing
like,
out to
right
Tosh. I was
before.
like, man, she's good looking. Damn, look at this movie. And Tosh was like, oh yeah, she was in like this and that. And I'm like, oh okay, that makes sense. She looks like she's going places.
Yeah, she was on Friends. Is the only thing I really know her from besides this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I liked Jennifer Aniston did pretty well. But like I thought she was a good actress in this movie, but she just didn't seem like she was having fun with it. Like to me it felt like she did not want to be in this movie and she hated it. She was just like, I'm doing this because I have to.
Yeah,
She didn't feel like she was having fun with
it
it.
definitely seemed
me.
like she was in her comfort zone for acting because
Yeah.
I don't think she's ever done any horror.
Is this how she got her start?
I don't think so.
Okay. So then why did she do this movie? If
Well, it's
she's
like a rite
already
of passage. I
superstar.
feel like where young actors, like, that's all they can get is horror movies, and
Yes.
it's like I
was telling this to Tasha, like, because of this podcast, when I go back and I've watched all these movies where it's like, I see all these AAA today actors in their first movies when they were in these like blockbuster horror movies. I love that, and honestly, like, I thought that we were missing that for a while because horror doesn't, in my opinion, horror doesn't get as much respect as it did in the 80s now. But maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it gets more. But anyways, it happened recently. It happened to the girl who did The Witch. Now she's the Queen's Gambit girl. She's pretty much becoming like the next, like how Jennifer Lawrence got her start on Hunger Games. Like she's like the next, I think, going to be like the next big star that way.
Next Jamie Lee Curtis, probably.
Right? Yeah. It's like she's made it. She's like AAA now. And she got her start from an indie Sundance horror movie. So yeah, horror movies can make some careers out of some people if they can do it. That's why I assumed that was that girl's first movie, because horror, like, it seems like an indie horror. Like, so if she had already made it, she's already a AAA actor. Why would she step into this role? But
she wasn't a AAA actor yet, but she she wasn't as famous as she would be with Friends, but she was. I feel like it's just like you see a lot of younger actors earlier in their career. They all do a horror movie at some point, for the most part. But it just felt to me like she didn't want to do this movie.
yeah, true.
All
And
right.
my last thing is it like did you pick up on the Nightmare on Elm Street reference, like with the phone?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like that's a very weirdly specific reference, but I liked it.
Yeah, because considering there's like almost a 10-year difference between the movies. But yeah, I totally got that. It's like they couldn't think of anything else to do, so they had to steal from Freddy. So
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even like a parody. It was just like, here is this shot for shot
the exact
recreation of a
shot.
scene.
Yeah, except for obviously the claw sound, and it's not, but still, totally. But anything else, you guys?
Nope. I went through all
You
my
Lucky
thoughts.
Charms.
I like the Leprechaun. I think he's fun to watch, but I'm not big on the movie itself, so I'm going to probably give it a 5 out of 10.
So you stole my rating. I'm also gonna give it a 5. What was the actor that plays the Leprechaun?
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. Right. Is he the R2D2 guy?
No.
Oh no.
No, he's Professor Flitwick in Harry Potter.
Yeah. So Warwick. I know his name from the Yog Pod. I used to listen to the Yog Pod.
Kenny something is R2D2.
Kenny. Oh yeah, he's like Kenny Baker. Yeah. Right.
All right, so you said 5.
Yep.
Jake?
He's from Scramble.
I guess I'll give this a 6. Just like I loved the Leprechaun stuff. Like him as a character was so much fun.
Yep.
And if they had just given me more of that,
Yeah.
like I feel like
Yeah.
this series, like I've always heard of this series, but I've never found anyone that's like, oh my god, the Leprechaun is my favorite. I love this series. I feel like if he had just been given more time to be like a Freddy Krueger,
Yep.
like over the top character, he could have taken off, and maybe he would be like a AAA horror icon. And I feel like he's like a C tier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
I felt the same way. I didn't do my review. I noticed I just gave my score, made a reference, asked a question. So just duplicate Jake's review, and that's my review. Control C, Control V. If your software doesn't support Control D.
Control X.
Yeah.
You gotta live on the edge.
All right, so I gotta switch the card here since we're done with Leprechaun.
So has anybody watched anything horror related besides these 3 this month? I don't think I have.
I haven't watched any. I started playing the first Last of Us game, which I guess is kind of horror, but like, I don't know if I like it. It's a lot of just walking around. I'm just like, this isn't. I don't know.
I haven't played it, but
I don't know if that style of game is for me.
I
The
have
Last
it,
of Us,
but
yeah.
I have never played it. So, have you watched anything, babe, besides these 3?
I have. There was a specific thing that I wanted to bring up in the podcast, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't know. You didn't tell me, so I don't.
I know. I should write these things down. Well, I'll bring it up next month if so. Honestly, like what I've been doing with a lot of my free time is doing the VR chat stuff. So there are some horror things in there. There's the official, the Devouring, and there's another separate horror world. And oh yes, actually there is. This is related. So there's this this person that I met in VR chat is named Cold Cancer, and he makes maps. And he made this one map that is like this like Saw, Stranger Things like mashup where you go in the map and it's got this like neon triangle and you're like in VR, so you feel like you're really there. And it has this like this bowl of blood underneath the triangle, and you click on it and you go into the next room, and there's this like pentagram on the floor that has these neon lights, and it's like a sort of like a party room situation. You can go to the top and you can like turn on like smoke and like stuff like that. It was a cool VR chat world, and it was like extremely horror focused. On the wall, Freddy is like spray painted on the wall, which I thought was super cool. There's just a lot of stuff like that, So
That sounds fun.
yeah, I had a great time exploring that one. So yeah, I actually got to meet the creator too. He popped in on one of this. Me and my brother were throwing a party in one of his worlds. He popped in and we talked to him for like 6 hours that day. Just drank a ton of beer. It was great.
Nice. All right, y'all want to get into recommendations for next month?
Yeah, absolutely. So secretly during this podcast, I have been like showing Tasha different recommendations for me, and she's been like giving me the no, and I finally found one she approves of. So apparently I'm censored now, but no, I'm just kidding. So I'm gonna recommend Ouija: Origin of Evil. Have you ever seen it, Jake? Awesome!
I haven't seen any of the Ouijas, no.
Don't watch the first one. The first one's garbage. And this one, it's not the type of sequel that at all plays on the first one. It's kind of the same as if you've seen Annabelle and another Annabelle, where they're all like...
I was just going to say, yeah.
Well,
it's just like that. It's
yeah,
like
because
zero relation.
Because the regular Ouija's technically the prequel.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's technically related because it's both on a Ouija board, but that's it. It might even be the same board, but that's literally the only... There's no recurring characters. There's no reason to watch the first one. Just watch Origin of Evil. It is, like, super good. I'm excited to talk about it.
All right, Jake, what about you?
I wasn't sure either. Okay, tell me if we've done this one yet, but I want to do The Lost Boys. I feel like we did do it, but maybe we didn't.
No.
Okay, good. Then we're doing The Lost Boys.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna do Psycho.
Oh, okay. Didn't we already talk about Psycho?
No.
Okay.
You and I talked about Psycho 2, Mike, because I watched it a couple months ago. I was not a fan. The original, though,
Yeah.
I'll watch that one again.
Yeah, we have made like Psycho references in other podcasts, but
Yeah,
we have
okay.
never watched it and talked
Yeah.
about it.
One of these days, I'm gonna recommend Final Girl. Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was okay.
Final Girls?
Yeah.
I like that movie. That's
Oh
a
wait,
good
was
one.
it that or was it Last Girl? I don't remember.
Final Girls.
Okay. Oh, have you seen it, Jake? It's like an indie movie. You've seen it already?
I don't. The one I'm talking about, The Final Girls, it's like kind of a comedy parody.
No,
Not
yeah.
parody, but it's like a satire kind of. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Then
not. That's
it's
not.
different.
This one's an
This one's like
actual horror.
super indie. We got it from a Red Box. Like
No, we watched it. It's
I would
on
be-
Netflix.
I would. Oh yeah, that's what it was. I would be very surprised if you had seen it, but
No, the Final Girls. No, I need to rewatch it. Maybe it's worth recommending. It's an alright movie.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
okay. So I guess that's it. Jake's got his shirts.
Oh yes. Well, if you're new to the podcast, I make. I haven't done designs in a while, but I have designed like subtle horror design prints for like a lot of big horror movies, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, The Shining, a bunch of different designs, and they're not all black T-shirts with bloody font because I wanted to do something people could wear any day of the week and not die from heat stroke and stuff. So if you're interested, it's jakensteinapparel.com.
All right, and Molly's telling. Yeah. So.
He's done.
All right, so I wanted to thank anybody that's still listening for listening and being a fan. We will be doing a special episode next time because it will be the 2-year anniversary of the podcast. Woo! But yeah, so we're
We
really
might
excited.
have a cavalcade of special guests,
Yeah.
but
Maybe.
it depends on if we can resurrect certain.
Oh god,
dead
that made
bodies.
it too obvious. Yeah. But
It could be one of either.
yeah, it'd be funny. Okay, it would be funny if we did a tier list thing, but it's okay. Thanks for listening, everyone, and bye.